Oh, let's see if this is working. Let's see. I think over here I gotta hit a button. All right, give me a minute. Don't you love when technology just looks different? Looks like it might be working. Here we are. Now I found it. Yay! Let's see if we can hear. You guys, welcome. It looks like you love it when it works. And when it doesn't, yeah. Anyway, welcome you guys. Welcome to the Facebook Pottery. I'm sorry, the Carolina Pottery Facebook page. And I was trying to find comments, and for some reason I don't see comments. Huh. Very interesting. This is so strange. This is like the second time this has happened that I've not seen comments. So let's see if this will work. Just refresh one more time. There we go. It's working. It's working. Yay. Thanks, Deanne, for that. You guys, welcome to the Carolina Pottery Facebook page. I'm Julie Siomacco. I own Southern Charm Wreaths, and I am so proud to be here to show you a wreath design using some fun goodies I found at Carolina Pottery when I was shopping recently. So let me close this up and get it out of the way and make some room. It's funny because you got to use all of the computers and iPads and stuff like that to do the live. Here we go. All right, and I'm going to go through some of the supplies we're using. So this is going to be a fun wreath. I love wreaths, okay? Wreaths are just so much fun, and they're so versatile. You can create any design that you can think of. It can be anywhere from modern to traditional. You know, you could just mix it up and make it anything that you like. Black and white are hugely popular this year, and they will be all the way into next year. You're going to see black and white Easter bunnies. I'm not lying. Black and white Valentine's Day stuff. So black and white is hugely popular. So is the buffalo check. So this is the buffalo check or buffalo plaid, whatever you want to call it. You can see a lot of buffalo plaid and the red and the black, but also the white and the black is really popular. So I thought it would be fun to incorporate some of this into our wreath. This is a snowman hat. This would be so pretty if you purchased several of these and nestled them into your Christmas tree. This would be a great way to add just a little punch of color of the black and white into your tree. This would also be pretty if you put it on the top of your tree as the tree topper. So I can envision this just nestled on the top of the tree with maybe a bow with this black and white checkered ribbon, or even if you added in some different color of the lime green and some of the red with it would be really pretty. So I like this. Would be really pretty. So if you're looking to purchase the exact supplies that I'm using today, we've got a link pinned to the top of the post right there for a link right to all of these products that we're using. Okay, don't wait if you're interested because they do go fast. These beautiful hydrangea sprays. We're going to use 3 of these, and I love, love, love. Don't you just love these snow-tipped hydrangeas? Not hydrangeas. These are poinsettias. These are poinsettias. Don't you just love the snow-colored poinsettia? It is so pretty. Now, one thing I wanted to show you is how to fluff. Because sometimes we get our picks and they're like little mashed. If you just take the time to straighten and pull apart each little piece, just like this, it brings the piece to life. It makes it look a little bit more realistic than, you know, something artificial. Just trying to unwrap and pull things around, right? We're just fluffing. So you can see how much more this came to life just by taking things and spreading them around. Now, one other thing you can do, I always buy these to put in my Christmas tree. So I would buy several of these, put them throughout my tree, and all I do is bend this a little bit downward. Probably bend this just a little bit downward, just a little, so it sort of flows down. And then just stick these into the branches of your Christmas tree. And if you put them placed sort of in a triangle effect all the way around your tree, it's great to add a pop of color, but also a different texture of greenery. So this is a tip that I wanted to share. I love when you can find these sprays that have the different textures of greenery. So you've got the flat leaf of the eucalyptus, you've got the cedar, and you've got a different pine, a long needle pine. So when you can find something that has multiple greenery like this and this really bright pop of color for your tree, I think is beautiful. So we are going to incorporate these in our wreath. And then the other thing I wanted to show you is this beautiful, I love this. It almost, to me, I'm not exactly sure what it is, but it looks to me sort of, I guess it's got the berries, so it's probably some type of a eucalyptus. Or at first when I saw it, it reminded me of ficus, but it's not. It's got the berries. So it could be like a eucalyptus leaf it's heavily snowed and glittered, so it looks really icy on the tree. If you put it on the tree, I also like to get stems like this and put them in my Christmas tree. Anytime I add something to my Christmas tree to get rid of all of I like the green pine, but just to add a little bit more color and texture into it, it just adds so much more of that designer look that everyone is craving for. And I also wanted to talk to you about why I chose this piece. So if you look at the coloring, you've got some that it's a little bit lighter green, some of the darker green, and then you've got these really fun twigs that are attached to the spray. So that's why I chose that. I'm going to be using 3 of these. So we got 3 of these today. We've got 1 of our snowman hats, and we've got our 1.5 inch ribbon, and also 3 of our poinsettia sprays. And I'm going to use 2 of these, which are really fun. This is another thing I would love to put in my Christmas tree. You can bend these. These stems are pretty thick, so you can just bend these into shape that you want. You could put these out of the top of your tree if you wanted a fun little tree topper. This would be really fun together, or just throughout your wreath or your Christmas tree, just to give more of a whimsical look to your project. All right, so we're going to use a couple of these, and we'll go ahead and get started. You guys, go ahead and ask questions if you have any questions. Of course, Facebook's not showing me any of the comments, which is so strange. That is just very odd. If you have any questions, comment and let me know. Also, tell me, how many Christmas trees do you put up in your house? We, believe it or not, started decorating already. And I know we just had Halloween, but I can't help it. I love Christmas so much. Am I the only one that's already started their Christmas decorating? And let's see, hold on. I'm going to go ahead and fluff this. So once you get your wreath, you're going to want to make sure to fluff every piece. Okay, so what that means is I go through with each little needle. I handle each one. I maneuver and fluff. So you're really just pulling it up and out from the wreath base, but you don't want to pull it so much that it you can see through it. Okay, so you don't want to pull it up too much. You just want to give it a little bit of a lift just to make it a little fuller. All right, so I've gone through, we've done this whole wreath, and let's talk about the wreath for a little bit. I love the quality of this wreath. It is what we call it's what do you call it? It's a 2-level, and all of a sudden the terminology has just left my mind what it was. oh my gosh, double, it's got two inner rings, okay? I mean, two rings. We've got one of the inner ring and one the outer ring. The inner ring sits up a little bit more, so it's elevated. And when that happens, it gives the wreath automatically some fullness to it. So if the inner ring was the exact same size as the outer ring, it would just be a flatter wreath. So I like that's why I like the quality of these wreaths. At Carolina Pottery. If you go to the Carolina Pottery website and click the link right there in the comments, you'll get access to all of the supplies that I'm using if you want to duplicate the exact same item, or just to have some fun stuff to put in your Christmas tree. And also while you're there, don't forget to join their lifestyle club. So when you join their lifestyle club, it's their mailing list. They'll send you all of these fun tutorials, teaching you how to do different things with floral design, bow making, and Christmas tree decorating, and all of the fun stuff. And also they'll send coupon codes directly to your inbox. So go ahead and join there too while you're there. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and get started. The first thing I like to do is just implement my largest item, which is going to be our snowman hat. I'm gonna take this off. And when I'm putting this on, okay, so we've got to be a little bit careful, because if I put it I want to put this angled in the middle. If I put this too far back, do you see how my wreath might not fit so level? So I've just got to be a little bit careful that I don't put it too far back. And I'm going to think about this. How am I going to attach this? I'm going to get some florist wire. There's a couple of places I want to attach it. I definitely want to attach it down at the bottom on the rim, and I want to attach it on the top. So let me go ahead and make my little holes. So we're going to do it on the sides and the top. I may have to hang this up to finagle it. All right, for right now, I'm going to go ahead and punch a little hole right here. I'm going to use, this is for beading. It's a little tool I like to use. If you don't have a bead tool that punches hole in metal, you can use an ice pick or an awl that you purchased from the hardware store. But this was purchased at a craft store. For anywhere you can find places that sell beads and beading jewelry and stuff like that. All right, so let me make sure I put it up here. I think I'm going to put it up here just so I know I get the right placement on this. I just don't want to go too far back. And we're going to do it right here. And I may just give this a little bit of a bend. Just a little bit, not too much. I don't want it to, you know, pop. All right, I'm going to go ahead and attach it right here, I think. All right, so I'm going to give it a little hole punch right here. And then the tricky part is finding the hole. So we've got that wired. I'm going to go right on the opposite side, making sure you guys can see okay. I'm going to go right on the opposite side and do the same thing. Again, if you don't have this nifty little tool, you can just use an awl or a hole punch. What themes do you guys like to decorate with when you're decorating for Christmas? Is there any like fun theme that you like to use? So at this point, I am going to use my awl, and I'm going to just pierce through the corner of the snowman hat. I'm trying to decide. I don't think I'm going to do a theme this year. I think I'm just going to keep, I like to do a lot of the mixed metallics I kind of like that. That's kind of me, but I might throw in a little pop of the black and white this time. I just love that color. Okay, and we'll do one more on this opposite side. So I really, when you're in, this is a very lightweight snowman hat. Just gonna pierce it right up through the top. Like that. So when you put something in the center of the wreath, you want to make sure that it's attached securely and that it's not too heavy. Come on, there we go. All right, so now what I'm going to do is just attach it up into the wreath. And if you're commenting, I apologize. Facebook does not like me today. It's not showing me your comments. So let's see if we can attach this. All the different ways. So I'm attaching it around the wreath frame itself, not just one of the needles. I'm attaching it all the way around the metal base of the frame. Ooh, about poked my eye out. Don't do that. You could do this while it's on the ground, I mean on the table too if you needed to. And then we're going to move this up here, attach the top part. I'm so glad. Here in Columbia, South Carolina, it finally started getting cold. It has been so hot lately. It's kind of hard to get into the Christmas spirit when it's hot. All right, we're gonna, what's the weather where you are? Let's move this around. Okay, so we've got this, and if you've, smashed your wreath, you can just fluff it a little bit. It's okay. And then I'm going to give it a little shake, shake, slam the door test. That's what I call this. So when we put it on the front door, and those kids slam it, we want to make sure things don't fall off. All right, so we've got that there. You can go ahead and cut off your wire on the back, oh goodness, on the back if you need to, so that it doesn't, you don't want it scratching the door or anything. Okay. I like that already. It's looking cute. So I'm just going to fluff, fluff, fluff. All right, the next thing I want to do is add our poinsettias. But you know what I think? I think I want to tilt this just a little bit. Do you see the difference there? So if I have it upright or tilted, I think it just adds a little more character when we tilt it. Just like that, maybe like that. And I think I'm going to go ahead and add my wire to the back. You can use a pipe cleaner or rustic wire. I'll just use a pipe cleaner and show you what it looks like, because most people just use pipe cleaners. If I can find a green pipe cleaner. You know what? We could use the hot pink so you can see what I'm doing. Isn't that a good idea? All right, so when I figure out where I want it to be displayed, in other words, where I want to have my hanger, so in other words, I keep twisting it until I get something that I like, and then I turn it over. I've taken my pipe cleaner and then just folded it in half like this, right? And I'm going to turn it upside down, and these little ends I'm going to poke through the back just like this. Sometimes this is hard for people to understand how to add a hanger. It's so simple. So you've got your pipe cleaner and you've got your little loop underneath. Now I'm just going to pop the loop facing towards the ceiling. My two legs from the pipe cleaner, I'm just going to wrap it around the base of the loop. You can, obviously, you're going to want to use something green, which is, you know, good. You could use what I like to call, it's called rustic wire. It's just a little bit of a thicker wire wrapped in brown paper or green paper, just to help blend. But I wanted you to be able to see how I added that, so you can see really closely that it's just the loop and then you've wrapped it around the base of it. So now that we've got our hanger, let's get started on the decorating. There we go. I'll move it up just a little bit. I'm sorry I can't see your questions. All right, so we've got our beautiful hydrangea. I don't know why I keep saying hydrangea. They're poinsettias, but you know my favorite flower of all time is a hydrangea, so that could be why. Do I want to add that first? Or do I want to add the bow? Let's do the bow. My thought is that we would add a really big bow right down here. Okay, so we're just sort of going to fill in this little area right there. And I was wanting it more this way. For some reason, it didn't go that way. So I will fix that. You can always add this later if you want to. It's completely up to you. I sometimes add my wreath hangers at the last minute just because I don't know which way the design's going to flow for me to attach one. Okay. All right, so there we go. All right, so the bow that I'm going to make, I want it to fill in down here. So we're going to use 1.5 inch ribbon, and I love this textured ribbon. It's so pretty. It's just got the fuzzy, it reminds me of a flannel shirt, like you know, on a cold day, and here in the South we don't get snow, so we get a little chilly. Flannel is our basically our winter coat for the for the winter. I'm not lying. I don't know where you're from, but here it does not get very cold. So a flannel shirt is usually all we put on, but that's what it reminds me of, a cozy flannel shirt. So when you add ribbon to your wreaths, it just adds so much texture and softness to the design. So one side is fuzzy and then one side is not. So we're going to make sure we keep all of the good side, the fuzzy side, facing forward. I like to first start with a little ribbon tail to see how long I want my ribbon tail to be. So we're going to measure out, just so you guys know, it's about 23. Okay, and I'm going to pinch it right like this. See if I can zoom in for you guys a little bit more. I'm going to lay this down. I'm going to measure out 14 inches on the mat, and then I'm going to bring this to the back, and I'm going to pinch it into my fingers. All right, so we've got the pretty side of the ribbon facing forward, and we've got the back side of the ribbon facing forward. So we need to make sure that this is the good side. All we're going to do is flip it up. Okay, so I'm going to measure out 14 inches. We're going to flip it up. I'm going to duplicate that exact same thing. So we've got our little rabbit ears. I'm going to duplicate the exact same thing. So we're going to do the 14 inches, bring it to the back, the 14 inches, and bring it to the front, okay? So as I'm feeding in the ribbon, it's slowly going into towards the back of my hand. So we've got 14 inches here. The next thing I want to do is add another layer in between. I want a ribbon layer or a bow loop here, and I want a bow loop here. So you see how I formed this X? Now I want a loop here and a loop here, but I don't want it to be 14 inches. I'm going to come in, and instead I'm going to do 12 inches. Bring it to the back. 12 inches. Bring it to the front. So these are going on top. These loops are going on top. So now we've got our X that we started with. We've got a loop in between that's shorter. And now I want to do another set of X on top of those two loops, but they're going to be even smaller. So instead of the 12, we're going to do 10. So we're going to do one loop of 10. Didn't unroll enough. And then we're going to do a loop of 10, bring it to the front. We're going to do a loop of 10, bring it to the back. We're going to do a loop of 10, bring it to the front, okay? There goes the ribbon across the room. Okay, so we've got our X that we first made in the back, and then we've got our loop in between the X, and now we've got our little smaller loops with the X, right? So at this point, you can make another little loop if you want to, but I think I'm going to leave it just like that. I am going to make another ribbon tail. How about that long? So we're just making a really long ribbon tail. So I'm going to trim this here, and I'm going to trim this here. So we've cut it off of our bolt, and now I'm going to attach it to my wire by just turning the bow over and lifting up my finger and placing in the wire. Bring it to the front, and then twist. So you guys, this is my wreath workshop. I actually have this in the garage of my home. We don't have cars in my garage. We have flowers and ribbon and all of the fun stuff. All right, so I'm going to just shape it a little bit, keeping the X in mind, right? The little X ribbon loops, the one in the center and the two smaller ones in the front. So you can see how this turned out to be a super cute bow. I'm going to add this to the bottom right under here. Oh, that's cute. Cute stuff. I'm just going to twist this around. I'm attaching it to the wreath frame. Just like that. I'm going to bring the ribbon tails to the bottom. Let's go ahead and roll some of these. Okay, so we've got that there, and I'm going to use some of these little needles just to anchor some of the loops down. Okay, fun. Isn't that fun? So you can see how we've added our bow right underneath the snowman hat. The next thing we're going to do is add our fun, I'm going to put this over here in case I need more ribbon. I can grab it without having to run across the room and chase it. Next thing we're going to do is we're going to add our fun poinsettias. They're frosted poinsettias. I like to divide. Now you could, you guys, if you're in a rush, you could clearly just put it in like that. And you could put, you know, this one around like that, and then the next one around like that. However, I want to just divide these up a little bit so I can get a little more control. This is the story of my life. I have to be in control. So I want control over the wreath too. So you could just divide these by pulling them apart. Sometimes if they don't pull apart easily, you can use your wire cutters. And they just pull out. So we'll keep that together. If you have a hard time with if your wire cutters sometimes don't cut your pieces, you can use, I like to use electrical wire cutters. So these are really made for electrical work. It just seems to cut a little bit better. So we're just gonna go through and just divide these out, just like this. If I miss your questions, I will come back in and answer them after the video. And I apologize for not seeing them for some reason. Just divide. We're going to cut off our tags. I'm just sorting all of the same greenery together. I love the frostedness of these, the snow cover. It just makes it feel like it's really something you've just gone outside and picked from your yard. Well, not my yard because we don't see snow, but you know what I mean. You know what I mean. So we've got pine cones and we've got all different textures, all different shapes and sizes of the greenery, even some longer pieces. All right, the first thing I want to do is add in our hydrangeas. I'm going to use the rule of 3. I'm going to place one here, and one here. And to do that, I'm going to dip it in my glue pot right here, which just melted glue sticks into literally an electric fry pan. But you can use your hot glue gun if you need to, all right? So I'm just gonna dip the end in glue, or you're gonna put some hot glue on the end of it, and then I'm gonna attach it first to the top, and then I just dripped a big bunch in the floor. There we go. I wanna make sure that when I attach it into the top, that I'm sort of wiggling it back and forth so it's capturing and catching onto all of the greenery. We got one, I'm gonna do one right here, and then one on the opposite side. Let's make sure that that didn't go through the back. Okay. So we've got that one, and we'll add one more. And then I'll show you what we have. I'm just gonna, if you find that your wreath has a big hole and there's nothing to grab onto it, just smush back down the pine needles of the wreath. So to me, Christmas wreaths are the easiest wreaths to decorate on. So if I were you and you like making your own door wreaths, grab several of these, because I use them all year round. I use them for fall wreaths, Christmas, Easter, spring. They're just so easy to work with. All right, so we've got our 3 hydrangeas, so you can see how I've added that right there. And now we're gonna start adding in our greenery. Just gonna trim these a little shorter. I think I'm gonna add in the short pine first. Making these a little bit on the shorter side. I have been making wreaths for 10 years, and I've learned a lot along the way, the fast and easier ways to do things. So I'm glad I'm here to share my tips with you. The main thing I want you to remember is just to start, not to overthink. To me, I think sometimes the hardest part is just coming up with the coloring. And if you find something that you like a sign, maybe even a ribbon, just pick 3 colors from that focal piece and match stuff with that. So I'm just moving around the wreath. And I want them all going in the same direction. Don't be afraid to just start something different and new. You will never know if you can do it until you start. And when you use quality products like this from Carolina Pottery, it's sort of hard to mess up, to be honest, because it's going to look pretty no matter what because of the quality. All right, so I'm going to keep moving around. All right, so I'm going all the way around, and I've got a few more pieces I'm just going to throw in here or there. To me, crafting like this is just so much, it just adds so much to my life. It's a great way to get away in your mind, if that makes sense, without having to spend money on a vacation. So you can, I've used crafting to kind of sneak away from the kids and the hubs. I've used crafting to help overcome mourning when I lost my father. It's just, whenever you're having a bad day, just come home and start to craft. It's just so much, it just relaxes me. All right, let me show you what we have. So we've gone through and added in all of our the little cedar pieces all the way throughout. And now we're just going to keep adding more of our pieces that we've already divided out. We've got 3 long. Let's do last. I'd like to work in order of size. So a lot of people will ask me, since I can't see your questions, I'm just going to guess. A lot of people like to ask me, where do I even start? How do I start? You know, what's the best way? I like to start with my larger piece. So, you know, we started with our the Snowman Hat, and then we worked towards, whoops, I just dripped glue. No matter. I start with, then I start with the Hydrangeas, you know, which were a different size, but they were still larger than our other pieces that we're adding. I'm going to put 2. Oh, let's add 1. Don't forget to add stuff under your bow. I need to add a little more glue to my glue pan. And where did I put that? You could just, for my glue pan, I really just put any glue. Make sure that's going to be covered. This silvery texture of the eucalyptus is just adding so much texture and color contrast from the wreath. So you can see I've just worked around. Try not to get anything on my hat. Okay. And then the next thing I'm going to add, I think I'm going to start dividing it up these pieces, and I'll add my other elements last. All right, so we're still going to work around with the greenery and take off our tags. Again, we're going to divide. This one can't be pulled apart, so we're going to have to cut. With everything you add to your wreath, just make sure to shape it a little bit. I might keep this one long. So when I say shape, I mean bend, just like this. I like that draping there. So this is pretty long. I'm going to make a little loop with my green. The pine green wreath, I'm just going to make a little loop, and this is going to go right there in that loop. And there. So I took one of the pine pieces and I just wrapped it around the base just to give it a little more security. Okay, so now what we can do is start adding in our other pieces. So we're just dividing these just like this. Don't be afraid to cut. I find when I'm dividing my pieces, it's better to keep them a little longer. See how I remember I'm like, let me keep this one a little longer. This is short, and that's okay. I can always shorten it later if I want to. I have been shopping at Carolina Pottery for years. They have 4 locations. They have the one near me, which is in West Columbia, South Carolina, and then they have one in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. I've been to that one too. One in Augusta, Georgia, and they also have one in Smithfield, North Carolina. So they have them pretty much, you know, throughout. So you can go in. I'm just saying, you cannot beat. You're gonna, anytime I go into Carolina Pottery, I'm like, oh my gosh, this is like heaven. All of the ribbon, all of the quality floral pieces just like this. Whenever you can bend anything, it just is, you know that there's quality there. Signs, florals, ribbon. If you want pieces like a wreath designed for you, let's say you just like, I'm not crafty enough for this, you can have them design something. They've got expert florists helping you decide what colors work, and then they'll put it together for you. If you need bows, let's just talk about bows. Like, they've got all the ribbon that you can make your own bows, or you can go to their design studio and they will make bows for you. And here in the South, we are all about our bows, ladies, aren't we? We like our matching bows on our homes for Christmas. Again, if you want to duplicate this exact wreath, there's a link here in the comments that you can click on. It'll take you right to the web page. I'm moving around. Let's see, do I want one right here? I think I'll start working over on this side first. Let's see if I have another longer piece. Let's see. I want something there. I want something there. So I'm going to divide this one. Just using all my pieces. And then sometimes I have to just step back and see where there may be a hole. Just going to keep adding until I've used all of the pieces. So if you want to work back and forth, you can do that to help evenly distribute the color. So if you put one on one side, you put one right across from it on the opposite side. Just try not to glue too much there. And we can put some up here. we'll put some in here. All right, so let me show you what we've got. I've got just a couple of pieces that I might save for our bow. So let me show you what we have. So you can see where we've gone around and we've just divided up our poinsettia spray and we added it throughout. And we've got just a couple more pieces of the poinsettia spray. I'm just going to keep adding, and this is really pretty. So I've got to strategically place these. So if you don't know where to put things, don't glue yet. Instead, place it around where you think you're going to want it, and then step back to see if you're happy before you take the time to glue. Okay, so when you like that area, then you can go through and hot glue. Again, I'll come back in and answer your questions. I hate that I can't see your face, the questions again for some reason. I told you, technology and me is a love-hate relationship. I'm going to try to spread that out a little bit. It's really pretty. Let's divide it. So I just took a little piece of it off. It was a little too long. We'll move it over here. You could do all of those that way if you want. Just trim off a little bit of the top. Just to spread out the spikiness. Let's see, we'll do one over here. Yeah, I like that better. So I like it when I divided it. So let me divide a little bit more of this. Make it just a little shorter. Okay, almost. I'll turn this around when I show you. I like when we can use a little bit more of the products that we already have, so you don't have to, you know, if you feel like you don't have enough to go around, don't be afraid to just take what you already have and divide it. Okay, and then I'm going to divide that one just a little bit more, and then I'll show you what I mean. Gonna keep these together. Okay, so let me turn it around. So you can see how we've added in our poinsettia sprays and we've divided up all the greenery and we've added that. The next thing I've got are pine cones and some sticks and then our fun little ornament balls. So first let me add in our pine cones because this will be fun. I'm just going to trim these. Remember, these are still from the same poinsettia sprays that we had. I'm just trimming these a little shorter. We're going to nestle these in. And just divide these around. So if I add, let's say one over here, I'm going to add one on the opposite side. Just going to do that same thing up at the top. So you're just trying to evenly disperse these pine cones. So I think I got one more, and I think I'll add it down here. Again, if you're wanting to purchase the supplies used for this wreath, there's the link. It's pinned right here to the top of the comments. So now you can see how I've added the pine cones. We've got one here. They're nestled in. Let me zoom in just a little bit more so you can see. We've got them nestled here, and we've got them here and here and here, just throughout. And I love that it matches the little pine cone already on the hat. So the next thing I want to add are these fun, actually I think I'm going to leave these fun sticks to the end. We're going to add in our ornaments now. This is going to give a little bit of color around our wreath. So the project today, I want to say, I think it was in the $45 range. Just going to get my little tags off. We're definitely gonna trim these long. Don't throw. Sometimes when I cut these wires, they go all the way around the room. There we go. Take our little stickers off. So I'm going to use the larger ones first. We've got 4 of those. So let's see if I can get these to stick in. I'm making a little like hole for this to sandwich in between. And then I'm going to wrap a needle tie around it. Let's see if that works. So we're going to keep adding these. Let's see, we did one up here. Let's do one down here. Too far out. There we go. I'm going to make sure we can see them. Okay, so we've got two. We'll do one over here. Okay, and then we're going to let's do one right through here. These are fun. Oh my gosh, these are so fun. I might have to go back and get me some for my Christmas tree. And then, so let me show you what we've got. So you see how I'm just going through and then adding them throughout. So we've added our larger ones, and now I'm going to go through and add our smaller ones. Let's give this guy a little bend there. All right, so let's keep adding. I love that this is adding that black and white. Color throughout the wreath. You got hidden. Let me add him a little more glue on this guy, and we're going to move him out some. Sometimes when you're creating, it doesn't feel right. You're like, wait a minute, this is not what I had in mind. I just want to encourage you to keep layering and adding. Hold on, paper is getting untangled. Because a lot of times when I'll start making things, people are like, well, I didn't expect it to look like that when you first started. And true, but you just have to keep going. Even when you're like, well, that's not exactly what I had in mind. But don't give up, just keep going. Because it's the process. And slowly and surely, it will start to take shape. I've got one more. Where do I want to add him? So do I add it over here? Or do I add it over here? Do I add it over here? I think I'm going to add him right in there. Okay, so let me turn this around and show you. We've still got a few more pieces, but isn't that fun how all those little ornaments just added all that black and white color around? It's just so cute. All right, so the next thing we're going to do is add in the last few pieces. So I've got, remember these little pieces that we cut off of our greenery? I'm going to add those just into the bush, into the bow. So I'm going to lift up a little bow loop and add it down in there. And then add this one in a bow loop. I like how when I have greenery coming out of the bow, it helps the bow to blend. And now I've got all these little long pieces, remember, that we got from our Poinsettia Spray. We're going to add these in now. So this is going to be fun. A fun little texture. This is going to add a little more dimension to the wreath. And let's see, we've got our other sticks. I'll just go ahead and add those round. Don't forget to, give them a little bendy bend so that they look a little, real, more real, not artificial. So again, if you want to buy the supplies exactly to duplicate this wreath, or maybe you just want to have some more fun stuff for your Christmas tree this year, you can use the link that's posted at the top or commented in the comments that's pinned to the top, and it'll take you right to the page with all of these fun things in it. Make sure to join their lifestyle club. That's their email list, and that will they'll send these videos, some video tutorials right into your inbox, all the different fun things to make, as well as coupons to use in their store or online, and it'll be directly in your inbox. All right, so let's see. The only thing I'm going to decide if I want to keep, yep, I think that's good. I think we're fine. I've got these little pieces right here, just little leaves that fell off. I'm going to add these up into the hat. These little touches are going to really show that you care about your design. So I've added those up there into the greenery pieces of the hat. Let's get one more. Okay. And then if you want to, we've got we still have these leaves that are from our hydrangea bush, and you can go around and also add those wherever you need a little bit of a filler. Just a little bit of a filler, because these are, sometimes people just throw these away, and I'm like, don't throw them away. Don't throw them away. Use them. It's just another way to, fill in without having to buy something else. You've already bought it. Might as well use it. And I'm getting all tangled up into the glue. That's okay. I hope you guys learned something. Hope I showed you a thing or two. Just mainly, don't be afraid to get started. I really feel like just using a little bit of these techniques with any wreath or anything that you're trying to design for your home, the main thing is just start and don't be afraid to try something different and new. This is something you can do. Anybody, if I can do it, you can do it. It is not like I have been trained to do this. It is something I picked up and started doing for my own home, and going to Carolina Pottery too to get all the supplies for them. All right, so let me turn this around and I'll do a little quick show for you guys so you can just do a little zoom in. And you can see where we've added all of our fun, stuff up here at the top and all around. Just so cute. I love this little design. It turned out super, super cute. You can always add in more things like red berries, red ornaments, if you want to, if you need a little more red. But I just sort of like the simplicity of greenery and a little bit of frosted red poinsettias, of course, with our fun snowman hat. I think this is going to look super, super cute. You guys, thank you so much for joining me. Again, the link is in the comments if you would like to buy the supplies available and make this exact wreath for your own home. And then join their mailing list on their website at carolinapottery.com. Come into their stores. You guys are not going to believe the stuff in the stores. There's just so many amazing things. I mean, I found that I can't wait to make arrangements with our look. How cute is it? It's matching. So I was going to make a little arrangement with these and their containers that they have there. They have so many fun things like these. Look, even these. Just fun stuff, fun whimsical stuff to make, you know, tree toppers and to make your Christmas items come to life. But I want to thank Carolina Pottery for letting me host on their Facebook page, and if you have any questions, please comment. I will definitely come back and answer. I hate that I couldn't see them during the live. Thank y'all for joining me, and have a great rest of your week. Actually, it's the weekend. Have a great weekend. Bye.